Hi, welcome to Sehtar. Today we are going to look at resume writing, also called as CV. This is a very important skill and will help you to stand out from the crowd, can help you land your dream job, can help you make the next move in your career if you have already been working. It can help college students, young professionals, as well as experienced persons. And there are some of the very basics and fundamentals which are essential for any kind of a position that you may be applying for. And there are some points which will be very specific to the job that you are applying for. So today in this episode, we are going to look at all the things that are common, which are fundamental, which are really important, especially when you are starting off your career or when you are making your next move. This can come in really very handy and can help you make the difference. So let's get into it right now. So there are three very important things when it comes to high impact CV, really converting CVs, really very professional resume that will catch the attention of your recruiter and the hiring managers. So the interview panel, your hiring manager, the recruiter, all of them would be looking into many profiles, and you really have to be able to win their attention, win their hearts and minds so that you can get your job. So what can you do about it? If you look at it from that perspective, there are at least three very important things, and we are going to look into them one by one. In a moment, I will share them in an orderly manner so it's easy for you to remember and plan how you can write your CV. But just before that, there is one more thing that you need to consider, and that is when you are writing your profile, have a kind of a viewpoint from not only yourself, but also look at it from the hiring manager's point of view. Why would they want to really shortlist and select you? What is the reason for them to actually hire you and pay you the salary that you are expecting? If you could think about that for a moment and then kind of retranslate that and see how it retrofits and fits into your experience and your skills, now you will have an idea of what is it that will help you to write a better CV, write a very high impact CV. The second thing that you can also do is put yourself in the position of a hiring manager. Just imagine you are forming a new team and you are hiring people and you have received about 100 profiles. So how much time will you be able to spend on looking at each profile, and what will be the criteria for you to make a decision to hire a specific for a specific skill or for a specific position? What would you be doing? If you could think in that direction, then that kind of sets you up in a better position. So you can now write your CV, your resume in a very nice manner, in a very highly effective manner, and that would lead to a high impact resume, a very professional CV. So like I said, there are three important things, three important sections in your CV. Obviously the first one is something about you, so you can write in a few bullet points about who you are and what is your background and what is the main thing that you want to catch the attention of the recruiter. And there are three sections. We'll go by one. The first one is about your education, the second one is about your experience, and the third one is about your expertise. So these three are very important things that anyone would look for, and each of them have their own way of their own importance in how they are relevant for the position that you are applying for. Though there are some jobs for which a formal education is not required, and a small percentage of people would fall into that category. I'm assuming you are a college student and you have completed your degree, either undergraduate or postgraduate. Therefore, you may want to write something about your education, what you studied, what was your branch or course or specialization, and how you did well, and which was your favorite subject. All of those things can go into the education section. Now there are three sections, subsections within education. One is the academic part. The second one is about specialization or certification that you may have studied for the particular job that you're applying for, which may be in that field or in that area of specialization. It could be something about software, something about hardware, something about electronics or whatever. So you can add that as a separate subsection. The third and the most important bit, which many people leave out, and it can be a very big difference, is what are all the trainings and conferences and events that you have attended, for which you may have to even travel to a far off place. You went to a different city or even perhaps a different country, and you attended an event. It could be a training event, it could be a workshop, it could be a seminar, it could be a conference, it could be an expo, it could be an exhibition. Whatever it is, any events that you have attended, make sure you list them down. This will be a real standout factor. It can really help you stand out from the crowd. Your travels, your experience, your exposure in attending those events can really make a very big difference. So make sure you highlight them. So those are the three things from an education perspective: your academic education, your specialization or certification, and third, any training, conference and other events. This all would go into the education section. The second important section when it comes to CV writing is all about your experience. Your professional experience, if you have, write it down, and there are two ways to write it. If you don't have any experience, you can still write something that you have been doing as part of your education, the activities that you have been involved in, whatever you did during your free time, whatever you did as a hobby, and how it helped you and the people around you. You can still, you're always having some form of experience. So even though you may be seen as a fresher and a person with zero experience, you did have experience studying in an institution. As part of your activities, you may have been involved in extracurricular activities. So make sure you list them down. If you are having already a previous experience, then there are two ways, like I said. One is to go with the chronological way of like time-based, and you list down the most recent ones in the first, and then you go back to the past. There's other way of writing which is purely role-based, and you make progress from one role to another, gradually moving up the ranks, and you can list down all the roles, and this may or may not be in a chronological order, but would be more relevant from the recruiter's point of view, because your role and your experience is very closely related to what you're applying for. The third important element when it comes to writing about your experience is how well your work actually had an impact. You could use some metrics, you could use some statistics, some reports, and anything that may be available in the public domain, which is good for you to share. You can list them down as to how and why your role, your work, your effort actually made an impact to the company, or to the team, or to the department, or to the business unit. You can write down in terms of some key performance indicators called as KPIs, or critical success factors called as CSFs. Or you can also list down something very pertinent from an OKR point of view. Whatever you could think of, whatever you could think is very important and relevant, that is very relevant for the job that you are now applying for, make sure you highlight them. So those are the three things from an experience point of view. And last but not the least, now we are coming to all about you. What is it that actually defines you? In what are the ways, how do you differentiate yourself? What makes you special? What makes you unique? Your expertise, you as a person, above and beyond all the education experience that we talked about earlier, you can still pull out something that's really unique about you, and that is your expertise. It could be your favorite subject, it could be a hobby, it could be a charity work, it could be you're involved with some foundation, you are involved with some community activity. Whatever you're involved in, whatever is that's close to your heart, whatever you're very passionate about, make sure you share with them. Also, if that's going to have some kind of an impact from a time point of view, make sure you tell them that you, for example, you are not available in the weekends due to voluntary work you're doing, you're not available in the evenings because you are going to help out some children in your area who need support. Whatever work that you are involved in, make sure if there is a time factor that is very important, then make sure that the company knows so that they can also plan accordingly, and you also set expectations upfront itself. So those are the three important things, and this, if you could think of and write it down in a way that actually reflects your character and your personality, because they are not just looking for an employee, they are actually hiring a human being, and they want to have a very nice human being in the team. So make sure that you come across and you present yourself in a way that you can spend the next 2,000 hours, 4,000 hours, or 5,000 hours over the next 2 to 3 years in that team, in that department, in that company, and they really can welcome you as a nice person. So make sure you can do that, and I'm sure you can, because now you know the important tips and tricks and all the professional tips for writing a high impact CV, which we have covered today, and we'll cover more in upcoming episodes in terms of how you can highlight your strengths. And there are some important areas which are really relevant from a skills point of view, but there are also other things which are very, very important, relevant from a talent point of view. Maybe you're naturally talented to do something, then you need to make sure that you also highlight that, because that's going to be a differentiating factor. So we can look at all of those things in the upcoming episode, but today, for now, we can close with those important tips about your education, your experience, and your expertise, which you can highlight. And that's a very nice way of writing a very professional CV. Wishing you the very best, and gear up for success and victory. Wishing you a very healthy, wealthy, and a happy life. See you in the next episode. Bye.